Okay, good morning, all of you. As setting a proper motivation. So today, for this retreat, morning session is going to be the last one. So let us make sure that we make the most of our being together here. Yes, of course, all of us. Last night, it was pretty late. And still you are all made for this. Today, what are the things that they're doing in these morning sessions? And to be very honest, besides some sadhana's meaning, the practices of the Vajrayana, besides that, what are you doing? This is any teacher or anyone who is aware of what is real Dharma. When they come to know that we are doing this much of practice, the morning that we're doing, as what we have been learning the last few days, that what you're doing, right from the beginning, don't jump into doing the full, like 2 hours, 1.5 hours, and so forth. Instead of, say, make it like 15 minutes, make it very consistent. Make it very consistent, 15 minutes very consistent. And then gradually you will see that you will feel the stability. Once you feel the stability, and then with more, and of course, maintaining the stability but without expanding your knowledge, this will not really help. It may then either make you stop or it will become like a ritual without the sense of understanding. So I would suggest that just see how now today's the world is in a way, while the world is so distracted, and at the same time this world is very special in ways that the communication is so easy, information is so easy, accessibility to information is just amazing. For example, the teachings of the holiness. And if you're interested, just Google search, you get that. So therefore, this is something that we need to take note of. Continue studying, expand your studies, and then do a little bit of practice every day, like simple meditation, a quick 4 seals, a quick bodhicitta, just like there, you can put up and recite the verses, common meanings, and emptiness, the 5-point meditation emptiness steps, just follow that. It's going to be less than the 10, maximum 15. And you be consistent with this. After a while, the feeling will change within us. Not that it's going to be some miracle, no miracle. The feeling will change where earlier you feel that, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this. Later, gradually, it becomes very easy for you. That if you don't do this, something is incomplete, that feeling comes to you. Then there's a stability as built. Once the stability comes, with the consistent practice, that's when you expand, because you see that the benefit is there, and you like to expand the practice. Then what you do is going to be very reliable and stable. Okay, so now how expand the practice? So they do a lot of recitations. Reciting, and then you're unable to finish your recitations, and by the time you're so tired, no time for meditation. Instead, what we're doing in the morning is very compact. This much you can do when we do in group. It's about like maybe 1.5 hours. Whereas it's the same thing if you do on your own, maximum take 1 hour, not more. So therefore, keeping this in mind, they finally extract, give a great meaning to its life. Okay, so with this mind, starting from the setting of the proper motivation. Setting proper motivation, which involves 3 things. refuge field, what's in the field, and the purpose of this practice. Refuge field. What to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize Bodhicittavivaraṇa, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened masters who use his also inspiration, compassion, and wisdom. And how do you visualize them? That they are so loving, caring, embracing. And imagine that it's all Bodhisattvas just casting their eyes on you with extremely loving eyes. Bodhicitta field, what to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize your two grandparents and all your demons including your children and all the tiny insects in the oceans, tiniest of the organisms till the biggest of the blue whales. In the wilderness, tiniest of the insects to the biggest of the elephants and so forth, spirits, molecules, helpings, goddesses. Imagine all of them. And then visualize. The next is how you visualize them. That they are like small children and you are the mother. And with total love and affection, your eyes gleaming through each one of them to the extent each one feels themselves with your eyes. And the purpose of our practice is to awaken the hidden treasure within us. And how to awaken that? By introducing a very powerful remedy, which is the best remedy, to counteract the mental defilements. And that remedy requires a very powerful motivation bodhicitta. And this motivation bodhicitta rests on the compassion, universal compassion. And to what extent is the view of this compassion is determined by your experience of the renunciation. So keeping these in mind, to be cultivated, and let us start the practice and imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us. Okay, I request that you to start the practice.
Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Venerable Dhamma, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Venerable Dhamma, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Venerable Dhamma, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Sangye Sheda Tsogi Chonam La Chanju Pardo Dadi Gyapsu Che Dagi Chizo Kibe Sonam Ki Jola Peje Sangye Drubar Sho Sangye Sheda Tsogi Chonam La Chanju Pardo Dadi Gyapsu Che Dagi Chizo Kibe Sonam Ki Jola Peje Sangye Drubar Sho Sangye Sheda Tsogi Chonam La Chanju Pardo Dani Gyapsu Che Dagi Chizo Kibe Sonam Ki Jola Penje Sangye Drubar Sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers and the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths cause those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which help subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism, to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector. To you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound, who eternally shines forth the four noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of the dependent origination mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava etam tesham tathagato haratat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetam tesham tathagato haratat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetam tesham tathagato haratat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashamanaye swaha. Meaning of the Tendra Hebrew mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light, and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like karma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching in silence, I retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and the expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of 3 times, I pay obeisance. The 4 sins of Buddha's teaching. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma. Likewise, the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge for the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of karma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negative beliefs of beings, nor does he remove the miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by the teaching of the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma, for all bewildered in misery's womb. Instructions on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Please turn to page 14. Praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the 4 destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, lower the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely full and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I'm supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like the golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, we are the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees from one attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified and realizations who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. a star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all sea, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Please turn to page 29. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, Arya Bhagavad Gita, the Paramita Sutra, Shirapipo. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddhas dwelling on the moss of Virtuous Mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration of the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Master Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates, also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattva rely on and dwell on the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach an end point of the Nirvana. All the Buddha who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in the lines of the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as true, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection wisdom is declared: Tyatha Om Gati Gati Para Gati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the worlds of God, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken of the Buddha. Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Tyatha Om Gate Gate Varakate Varasamgate Bodhi Swadhyatha Om Gate Gate Varakate Varasamgate Bodhi Swadhyatha Om Gate Gate Varakate Parasamgate Bodhi Swadhyatha Om Gate Gate Varakate Parasamgate Bodhi Swadhyatha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and inner heart hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the karma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the karma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the karma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page 35, please. 8 verses for the training of the mind. Bodhicittavivaraṇa by Geshe Dorji Damdul. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to the others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from the bondage. Lama Tsongkhapa's Namim dedication. From my 2 collections as well as this space that I've amassed from working with effort and this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief living Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. 7-limb practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samandapatra. Samandapatra Prani Pamaraja. Upasambo Chirve, Miram Kikibo. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to the freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind I bow down, with the energy of the aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms in the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle as our Buddhas numberless as particles, each amidst a hold of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and the oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I string the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Supatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense I offer to you, victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfume, sandalwood powder, heat high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in the spectacular air. Offer to you, victorious ones.
Okay, thank you, Tajiki-sama. Okay, the practice concept, the concept of yoga, generally concept of yoga. Our 5 minutes meditation. Yes. Maybe second session, second meeting. $11:30. Thank you ready? Okay, what is very important is, of course, also 4 points for the single point meditation to build the stability of mind. This is very important. And the meditation per se is to be defined as a system of training to familiarize your mind on a visual object. And for that matter, there are two, broadly speaking, it is of twofold. One is the single-point meditation, and the other one is analytical meditation. Single-point one is known as shamatha meditation, shine in Tibetan, and the analytical meditation, the highest of which is the special insight, which is Khaltong. So we require both. And for the shine or for the shamatha meditation, 4 points to keep in mind: body posture. 4th point, identify the errors of meditation and applying the remedies. For the body posture, the sitting upright is very important. And if you don't have any issues, health issues, knee problems, so forth, then sitting upright is extremely important. And eyes not closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and ignore. Whereas when somebody becomes good in meditation, really following the standard, the procedures, then at a certain point, particularly with the analytical meditation, even keeping your eyes closed also is fine. Anyway, the point is that once you reach a good level of meditation, then one can decide whether to close eyes, open eyes, whatever. So for others, for beginners, keeping the eyes open is very important. Half the eyes open. These two are the two things: back upright and eyes open, eyes half open. And for the locus focal point of meditation, a tiny dot between nose upper lip, multitasking, counting the breath together. And then the number 3 and number 4, extremely important. Number 3, identify the errors in meditation, twofold. What are they? Mental laxity and mental excitement. So if any of these two things happen, apply the remedies. And the remedies twofold. What are they? Introspection, mindfulness. Very good. Okay, so these two must be applied right away. If you don't apply, knowing that your mind is falling into laxity or excitement, and you don't apply the remedies, it becomes a very bad habit. Then the mind can keep spiraling like this, and then it will never get out of this bad habit. Then meditation should be actually medicine. It can become a poison. Are you ready? 5 minutes. Okay, next, renunciation. Renunciation is done on the basis of, we do that based on the 4 seals. Ready? Okay, so in case if somebody is to do these practices, like just within the span of 10 to 15 minutes, then the 4 seals, you may not really spend a lot of time with each of the points. You just recite, okay, renunciation is to renounce my miseries, not renounce happiness. All composite things impermanent. Just quickly think about, one day I will also die. One day what will this place become? One day what we call as the great the fortress, palaces and so forth, what will they become? We never know. Look at the fortresses, old fortresses. So think like this and then move to the next. All contaminated things are self-nature. Where my mind is contaminated with self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, and the offshoots, contaminated karmas, affliction, so forth, I'll never be happy. All 3 miseries will ensue. And one moment of misery is good enough to make one's life so meaningless, hollow, and deeply sad. And everything's nature, empty, selflessness. Look, it's very quick, very quick. So this is what we can do if we are to do things in 10 or 15 minutes. Whereas later upon stability, gaining some stability, then we can do the way we are doing now. Okay, ready? Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce the miseries, not to renounce the happiness. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce causes of miseries. The Buddha taught, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. And what the causes are is taught by the Tathagata. Hetum desham tathagato hyavat. And how to bring an end to these causes, also taught by the great seer. Desham jayo nirodha evam vati ma shramanai swaha. So with this mind, we need to identify the root of the miseries, the cause of miseries, and the Buddha identified the ignorance, and of all these, and there are the 4 major kinds of ignorance are responsible for this. And what are they? Viewing impermanent phenomena as permanent, viewing miseries as happiness, viewing impure things as pure, viewing what is selfless nature as of selfhood. To counter these 4 levels of kinds of ignorance, Buddha taught the 4 seals. The first, all composite things impermanent, but is composed of material particles, physical particles, and temporal parts, should necessarily be of impermanent nature. And impermanence is of 2 kinds, gross and subtle. And gross one refers to the impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. It's very important for us to contemplate on the gross impermanence to be followed by the subtle impermanence. Here the gross impermanence. Think of your beautiful days as when you were young. They're all gone. And many people that you know in your life, they're gone. They're gone for one reason or that reason. And it's so like, if that reason did not happen, then this person would be still alive. These are all excuses. This is the reality. And in the beautiful experiences, the first moment of being together, second day of our being together, we come to know each other, and it's so beautiful. The place is beautiful. The whole atmosphere is beautiful. With the snow-peaked mountain, so beautiful. And now it's come to the end for being together. And each one of us, you have your aspirations. And young children, they have their own aspirations. And the parents have so much expectation from the children. Whether these aspirations are fulfilled or not fulfilled. 200 years ago, same people were there, as young as you are, as older than you, younger than you. Whether the aspirations are fulfilled or not, they're all gone. Not a single person. This is reality. A day will come that I have to breathe the last. This is the reality. Considering this, the Buddha indicated all what gathers gets dispersed. All what is accumulated is exhausted, and all what is born dies. Amazing comprehension. So what you see as a gross impermanence should necessarily be marked by the subtle impermanence, which is the momentariness. All composite phenomena should necessarily have the element of the momentariness, which means the change you see over the span of 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years is possible only if there's a change happen on the yearly basis. The change you see over the yearly basis is possible only if there's change happening on a monthly basis, weekly basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, and second by second, millisecond by millisecond. So all which is complex phenomena, including body, your mind, the place where you stay, your parents, your family members, everyone is going through momentariness, and this is reality. This is reality, impermanence. Looking at the subtle impermanence is very scary. Everything is momentarily changing. Very scary. Imagine that you, a very strong man, lifts you up and throws you into a very fast moving train. What do you feel? Immense fear. The faster the train moves, the more the fear. Yes, the train of a mind, train of a self, a body, the world, your parents, your family, your children, they're all moving so fast. If you don't believe, look at the timer. Press the timer, press the stopwatch. You will see how the digits move so fast. This is exactly how body is moving, how your parents are moving, how your children are changing. It's momentarily changing, very scary. Yes. Who decides where this train is taking you? It is decided by the driver. If the driver is a mother, no doubt will take you to the picnic spot. But unfortunately, in that case, the driver, while it is the mind, the driver is under the dictate of the worst of the contaminations, worst of the terrorists, which is self-grasping ignorance, and then its offshoots in the form of inappropriate intention, affliction, gross afflictions, and quantum karmas. They will invariably take us to the miseries. Three kinds of miseries: suffering, change, and the pervasive condition of suffering. One moment of such tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past moments of merriments, festivities, celebrations, birthday parties, and so forth. Yes. And when will they stop? It's incessant. They will never stop until we put a concerted effort. Otherwise, it's very exhausting. Yes, truly exhausting. This is how we have been shedding tears since time immemorial till today. Look at the war zones, people in the war zones. Children, they remain orphan, and the parents died. And the children die, and parents, they are lost in deep, deep grief, shedding tears. This is exactly what we did so many times in the past lives. in the future lives also this, when will that happen? We never know. It's all determined. It's like a dream. You don't have the freedom to choose a dream. Likewise, what happens is all decided by your karma, not by you. So therefore, what kind of karmas we have? Innumerable karmas are there, negative karmas are there, very scary. Yes. So when will this stop? 2024 stopped on its own. Now within a span of 6 months, 2025 will come to an end. We don't need to do anything to put an end to this. That's true, but it's unfortunately impermanent phenomena do not necessarily fall in the category of the first class of impermanent. There are three classes: impermanent phenomena whose continuum invariable stops, like 2024, your happiness, the joys, beautiful days with your parents, and so forth. And the second class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never stops, like your mind, the time, and so forth. And third class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never stops unless until you subject it to a very powerful remedy. And these are miseries fall in these categories. The tears fall under this category. Self-grasping ignorance falls under this category. Quantum karmas, afflictions, they all fall under this category. Okay. So which means that if I apply a very strong remedy, yes. What kind of remedy? What remedy needs to be applied depends on what is the nature of the mental developments. And knowing that mental developments, be they afflictive or cognitive, they're all somewhat connected with self-grasping ignorance, either in the form of offshoots or the subtle stains. So the remedy naturally lies on the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, what is the wisdom? The wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of object tallies with reality. And what's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay, let's quickly meditate on the emptiness of yourself today. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay, how does this person who identifies I appear to you? Like a dream that your mind is creating, it, or no, nothing to do with mind. It's independent of the mind, they're so objectified, so solidified there. Outside there, yes, this is how the self appears. And the belief that this self exists as object real, as truly unrelated to the mind, independent of the mind, this belief is known as self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance is not valid mind? To evaluate this, remember what Nagarjuna taught in Precious Garland. If the mirage were to be water, why not those closer by the mirage see water? Okay, let us all say this 3 times together. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Okay, with the similar token reasoning, you go closer to this self to see if it does exist objectively. This is known as subjecting self to ultimate analysis. Subject to self to ultimate analysis, let's see whether the self withstands this ultimate analysis. You go closer to self. Going closer, we see a thin layer of skin. Beyond that, the fatty tissues. Beyond that, the muscles, cartilages, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, gallbladder. All these all parts constitute the element of earth. And of course, the element of earth is not to be identified as the self in the eyes of ultimate analysis. And water, 4 liters of blood which is pumped in and out by the heart which passes the body. Element of fire, the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that we breathe out through your lungs. Element of space, 99.9% of the body is space. But I'm not space. Space is my human nature. I'm a solid person. Element of consciousness, the mind. People can see me. People cannot see my sense conscious, the consciousness. Also, I'm a male. I'm a female. And the gender is posited on the basis of the body. So therefore, this mind of the consciousness is also not me. Now tell me objectively, which of the 6 elements is to be identified as the one with the self? Not at all, none. Okay, if this were the case, and you still believe that this self exists objectively, remove the 6 elements to see this self does exist as intrinsically different from these 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what happens? Nothing is left there. Now tell me, where is the self objectively in the eyes of ultimate analysis? Nowhere. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, this experience is amazing. But what's the benefit of this practice, this meditation? Yes, just as when the self who identified as I is subjected to this analysis, we see that the self is discovered to be absent of objective existence like a dream. If this were the case, if you subject all the miseries, stress, tension, anxiety, anguish, and so forth, sadness, and bewilderment, confusion, all these through ultimate analysis, they will likewise dissolve. Okay, so this helps us transcend our sorrows and lamentation. What happened of the mind, the peace, the disturbance subsides and the peace dawns. And this peace is known as the peace of nirvana, absolute peace. Stay in this experience of the emptiness, where just as this self dissolves, all your miseries, lamentation, fear, anxiety dissolve. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, now generate a very strong aspiration. May I forever experience this emptiness, where all my sorrows dissolve. This is the meaning of renunciation. Extremely meritorious. Okay, let's take a few seconds before we move to the bodhicitta practice. Are you ready? Bodhicitta practice. Okay, before bodhicitta practice, I forgot the physical exercise and the breathing exercise. We forgot that. If possible, we can do this before the shamatha meditation. Are you ready? Let's first do the physical exercise, then the breathing exercise. Okay, how do we start? Physical exercise. Hold your knees. Okay, hold your knees, and then right shoulder, left, you know that. Meanwhile, the right arm should be straight, left arm can be bent. When you use the right shoulder, the right arm should be straight, left arm can be bent. Okay, and if possible, try to do this on a daily basis, so that gradually, because we see that some people, they find it very stiff like this. right? You can do even like this. If you want so stiff like this, like this, I said like straight, not like this. But if you do it constantly, gradually, the stiffness will gradually go away. Oh, look, this is like a magic. Look, very flexible. Okay, let's do. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, right. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, right. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now we'll do the breathing exercise. Thumbs in, pull. When you breathe in maximum. When you breathe out maximum. Once more. Once more. Okay, once more. Again. Once more. Once more. Good. Now Bodhicitta. For this, when you are doing this practice on your own, we do it with the help of the two methods. But here we do in group. We use the 4 measurables. Okay. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness, and the causes of happiness consisting of the most fearless wisdom of emptiness and the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectar as a very soothing light to you and all demon sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the bodies makes yours. Instills in all happiness and causes happiness within the mind sentient beings yourself. And you witness what is happening to all the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths and with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The causes of suffering primarily consist of self-grasping ignorance, complemented by self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such courageous commitment, like the mother, after all these many years of hardship and bringing children up, today the little girl the little daughter age 6, or age 12, or the little son age 11, 12 them come to mother, tell the mother, please take rest. You've done everything for us. We're already grown up. We'll take care of all the siblings. We'll also take care of you. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears. The tears of joy. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're so proud of what you did today. This joy and happiness, the Buddhist Bodhisattvas invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights towards you and all the sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies makes yours. Washes of all the miseries and the causes of the miseries. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all of the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths and with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such courageous commitment, you are intensely happy and proud of you. This bright happiness invoke the compassionate minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights to you and all the messenger beings. The mere touch lights and nectars with bodies beings yours stabilizes happiness and causes happiness the beings endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all of the messenger beings. You're intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths out of relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear messenger beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others? May all my dear messenger beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas make such courageous commitment that intense happy and proud of you, like a mother after all these many years of raising children with so much of a hardship. Today, the eldest daughter is just age 12, U.S. eldest daughter, age 12, or U.S. eldest son, age 11. Two of them come to mother, tell the mother, Mother, you have done everything for us. We are grown up. We'll take care of our siblings now. Please take rest. But the mother could not believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And they are so happy and proud of you. This part in happiness invoke the compassionate minds to send forth. Nectar is very soothing light towards you and all the messenger beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other demonstrated beings equally and leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all of the demonstrated beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths. Underscoring all the five measurables is unconditional love. Abide in this unconditional love. Imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of sentient beings with total love and affection, to the extent that each of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And this unconditional love is the fabric, is the foundation for the Buddha. It's the seed, it's the root of the Bodhicitta, which in turn is the main stem for the flowering of the Buddhahood, awakening of your hidden treasure within. Okay, with this mind, with folded hands, let us take a Buddhist, let us make Buddhist commitment 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. This is the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in the entire universe. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart. Okay, this is amazing that we made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, the bodhicitta spirit. But remember, no matter how much How much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds rather than simple handful of sand. Squeezing which oil does come out. I have the Buddha nature within me, I have the hidden treasure within me. If that is the case, how come that since time immemorial till today it never activated? Yes, that's true. It's all because that thus far I've been imagining that these two self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, these are the best of my friends, always coming in the aspect of protection and strength. And today I'm disillusioned by these two. These two are not my friends. These two are the worst of the contaminate, worst of the demons within me. What I'm going to do? I'm going to exterminate it to how? I'm going to do this very powerful remedy. Okay, let us quickly meditate on the emptiness which you meditated as the third of the four seals. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does the person appear to you? Objectively or subjective? Of course, objectively. And this belief that this self exists objectively is the self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance is not valid mind? To value this, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? But the simultaneous reasoning, if this person who identifies I would exist objectively, why don't I see this person as closer to the object? Okay, now let us go closer to the object. This is technically known as subject and self-analysis. Doing so, we see the very thin layer of skin and the fatty tissue, so for all the solid parts, element water, element air, element of fire, element space, and element of consciousness. Now tell me, in our ultimate analysis, what do you see? I'm seeing the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements is to be identified as the self in the ultimate analysis, which means is to be identified as intrinsically as one with the self? None. If none, remove the 6 elements to see if the self does exist objectively. Remove the 6 elements, what happens? Nothing exists, and nothing is found to be identified as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Okay, now tell me, you've come too close to object when subjected this self to the ultimate analysis. Where is the self? Objective, where is this? Nowhere to be seen. This is what I'm discovering. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Okay, now this amazing, you have the blaze of the non-dual bodhicittas. The moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta to exterminate self-centered attitude, and Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas. And this will guarantee to exterminate both the mental defilements, afflictive as well as cognitive. Amazing. Remember your 2 parents, all of them nursing children, all their messages are left there suffering. Generate very strong compassion for them. And this compassion invokes your Vajramon to multiply infinite number of times and share one set of the Vajramon at the heart of mother, and one set one set with your dad, one set with each one of the family members, including children, and one set with each of the sentient beings here in Ladakh, one set with each of the sentient beings in India, in your own country, in the huge, massive oceans, in the wilderness, and And all the beings in the world, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, and also in the entire universe. Okay, that's wonderful. So meanwhile, let us also not forget that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are watching us. So in order to request, why don't we request all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be witness, and as well as the guests to this ceremony taking aspect of Bodhisattva. I suggest making the request, let us slowly stand up on the moon, all the sentient beings to make true prostration to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. See if you can sit on the right knees. And hand out. Again, let us wholeheartedly reflect on meanings. Just imagine, imagine that you as a little girl, just age 4 or 5, or a little boy, age 4 or 5, for the first time in your life, making a public appearance on behalf of your school. And just imagine how proud your parents are. They leave behind whatever they have to do that day. Join the audience, waving their hands to you, saying that we are here. We are so proud of you. And you, as a little girl, little boy, seeing your parents there, you feel so protected, so comfortable, a moral support. This is exactly what happens to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're just here for you to witness as you requested. They come here, yes, readily this, yes. And all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all the Buddhists are in Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakirti, and so forth, all are there with us. And you as a very responsible little girl, little boy, you bring along with you all the siblings. This is exactly what you're doing. You bring all the sentient beings with you, making them also take part in this aspect of Bodhisattva. So with this mind, let's recite the 4 verses together, keeping in mind the meanings. Remember the meanings. Okay, so since at this latte, I'll quickly explain the first verse and the last 2 verses. On this journey of becoming enlightened, awakening your hidden treasure, is something that we have never undertaken before. As such, we require incredible great support, and the greatest support that you can think of is the Triple Gem. So first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Then with this great support, the journey involves a road. If the road is blocked by the boulders and the fallen trees and so forth, you cannot enter the journey. The road is none other than your own mind. This mind must be freed of the negativities. And to remove these negativities, the most effective way is confessing negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car doesn't have enough fuel, again you cannot enter the journey of enlightenment. And this car again is not other than your mind, and this mind must have should be full of the fuel of the virtues. So how do you do that? is rejoicing in the virtues of others, rejoicing in the virtues of yourself. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now that you have the great support, the road is clear, and the car is enough fuel, what kind of journey am I going to undertake? The fourth line says, I hold the precious brother in my heart, journey of enlightenment. Okay, let's recite these three verses together, wholeheartedly, try your best. And imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to restore accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I vow all sentient beings to be my guests, and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests, and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests, and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. Okay, I will explain this now, the two verses. You begin by invoking invoking the blessings of the Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas to be here to you. And the first verse says that in the history of the humanity, who succeeded in this journey? For flipping through the history of the page of the history, we see that 2,500 years ago, there was a prince by the name Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded in the journey. How did he succeed? By creating these two factors. The first factor, that he generated a very strong Bodhicitta commitment, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And the second factor, in order to materialize this aspiration to become Buddha, engaged in the Bodhisattva practices, such as 6 perfections and 4 perfections. 6 perfections including generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, the wisdom, and the 4 perfections, skillfulness, aspiration, prayers, power, and the primordial wisdom. So these are things that he engaged in the practice very seriously, and finally he culminated in the experience of awakening the hidden treasure within to benefit all sentient beings. As indicated by Acharya Dignaga, the one who is transformed into a reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector to emit frustrations. So if this is how he succeeded, then I will for sure, I'll take him as my role model, I'll take him as my guide, and I'll emulate what he did. I'll also create the 2 factors. I'll also generate very strong Buddhism in my mind every day. And to the best of my ability, I'll engage in the practice of 6 perfections and the 4 perfections to materialize this aspiration of bodhicitta. So with this mind, let's read this together wholeheartedly, but if contemplative meanings. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as the successful dwell in the Buddhist practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and the Vajrayana, 2 successful in Buddhist practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as the successful dwell in the Buddhist practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and the Vajrayana, 2 successful in Buddhist practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as the successful dwell in the Buddhist practices,
Likewise, for the benevolent all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta and love Ashila through successful training in Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received this with Bodhisattva vow. This is amazing, amazing, precious. And the Buddha Bodhisattvas, like the mother, after all these many years, receiving complaints from school about you as a little girl, you as a little boy. And today the school principal comes, and the mother again extremely apprehensive, asks, what kind of complaint? The school principal said, no, we came here to congratulate you. What for? That your son and your daughter, two of them are appointed best students of this school for this year. And the mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what happens to all Buddhist bodhisattvas, that all these innumerable of times, the Buddhist bodhisattvas, they only wish that we shun the cause of miseries, shun the non-virtues, so that you'll be freed from the miseries. On the contrary, we always embrace cause of miseries, thus constantly being tortured, tormented by the miseries. And thus far, that the Buddhists only wish they will embrace the virtues so that we have abundance of happiness and joys. But on the contrary, we only shun them because the joys of the virtues, they have always remained deprived of the happiness. And today, what they are seeing, witnessing something which is very different, it truly makes their day. So they're extremely, extremely happy the way the mother feels. So this happiness, joy, all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel, invoke the Vajramana at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that rejoices at your heart, thereby become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the replicas of Vajramana from Bodhisattvas, like rain shower, they descend and merge with the one that rejoices at the heart of your mother, father. Each of them, you are one of them members, including children, and each of the beings who you know who are sick, hospitalized, and each of the beings in Ladakh, in India, in your own country, in the oceans, in the wilderness, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, everyone in the entire Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. That's amazing. Thereby become non-dual, stabilized and blessed. This is amazing. The best way by which to repay your kindness, repay kindness for your mother, repay kindness for your father. If this is truly who you are, the best thing is to do this practice every day for them. Visualize them with you in this best way. Otherwise, you spend time together with your parents. Like every day, you just keep looking at the eyes, look at the face of each other, and what benefit? Eventually, both of you will die. This is what exactly just Milarepa said, that when the mother was here, the son was gone. When the son came, the mother is gone. Even if the two were to be together, what meaning can be extracted? Better it is for me to live in the wilderness for my Dharma practice. So the best way by which you get kindness for your parents of this life, of the previous lives, is to practice this. This is the best way. And today you did it. Amazing. And you made this greatest of the gifts to all your dear messenger beings. And of all the gifts, the offerings that you can possibly make to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, Buddha declared that one moment of genuine bodhicitta, one moment of genuine compassion, far excels the gift of the whole universe filled with gems, golds, diamonds, so far offered to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. If this were the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the especially Bodhisattva out today. And again, today you have made this greatest offering to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, amazing. And of your life, with your life, what you say is the purpose of life, eating, sleeping, and reliving. What is this? Is it like we live to eat? No. There's a great meaning there, and today we have extracted such a meaning out of one's life, given such a meaning to yourself, to your life. This is amazing. There's nothing greater meaning than this, and today you have given such meaning to your life. And all these three wonders, they happen because of the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a just thank all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, let us once more stand up to make three prostrations, although in the ultimate sense makes to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We will just let us repeat the two mantras. This mantra is to stabilize our bodhicitta. Om Sarva Yoga Chitta Ubadayami. Om Sarva Yoga Chitta Ubadayami. Om Sarva Yoga Chitta Ubadayami. Om Zurede Samayatam Ho Siddhi Benza Yata Sukham. Om Zurede Samayatam Ho Siddhi Benza Yata Sukham. Om Surede Samayatam Ho Siddhi Benza Yata Sukham. Okay. Now for the future lifetimes, to think of that, yes, it's so precious. These are the true treasures, and we have to treasure within us. And yet we're not aware of that unless the Buddha pointed that out. And how many people they come with the teaching, meet with the teaching of the Buddha, and unless we meet with the teaching of the Buddha, how do we know that these treasures are within us? So for that matter, we see that this is the beginning of the journey, and the journey needs to be completed to awaken this Buddha energy within us fully, to experience fearlessness and infinite happiness, where we stop all the tears of samsara. For that matter, but we require two things. One is, in the future lifetimes, to meet with the Dharma, if possible, as early as possible. Many people say the same complaint, that how come that I met with this incredibly beautiful teaching, incredibly beautiful system of thoughts so late in my life. So we need to meet with the Dharma, one. Second, having met with the Dharma, then we should be somebody to fully engage in this practice with so much joy and happiness. So for the first, of course we try best to do this practice in this life, and then we include that in the form of very powerful prayer to be connected with this Dharma in the future lifetimes, the Dharma of the Bodhicitta and the Dharma of wisdom and emptiness. In my life, I can see that there's some people, they're so easily deviated with some rituals or with some form of meditation. They feel that this is everything. easily drawn towards that. And some people, no, they are not convinced. They do that, but not too convinced. The moment they meet with the bodhicitta, with wisdom, they found that this is my home. These people are very meritorious. So we could then form a very powerful prayer that we meet with these two teachings alongside shamatha and any other practices come. Well and good, welcome. But these two cannot be compromised. This is what we have to build in the form of the prayers in this life. Having met with this teaching, the next is how to fully engage in this practice. Just delve in this, plunge into this fully with so much love, so much affection and joy. How to make this happen in this life? Try to connect these practices, bodhicitta emptiness, with joy as much as possible. So the remaining verses from Bodhicittavivaraṇa's text is to connect these practices with the joy. Okay, with this mind, let us all how to say this together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to hold the two precious bodhicittas safe in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas safe in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas safe in the course of my life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes sovereign death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. Is a supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is a tree that shelters all beings, wandering and tied on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is a great sun that finally removes the mystic ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the journey of the middle Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and it shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival to celebrate an ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, all be joyful. Direction prayers. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that deeds in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times under the holding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight, and all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort in this practice for greater length of time, may I become the shield-wielding Buddha for all those whose minds with my splendid ignorance. Okay, Buddha shall come into praise. Oge tuje shaye rizu chon shenge meto dege bonjombo sege Abo jebe ko shaye yebo de la cha se lo oh mone mone Mahamona Yeswaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuna Yeswam Tage Tuje Shaye Rizo Cho Shenge Meto Sergelumbo Tabo Jebe Go Shaye Yebo Kela Jazelo Oh Moni Moni Mahamuna Yeswa Om Muni Muni Muna Yeswa Hage Tuje Shaye Rizo Cho Shenge Tuge Ponjama Sergelumbo Tabo Jebe Go Shaye Yebo Kela Chaselo Oh Mon Mona Yeswa Om Moni Moni Mahamuna Yeswa Om Moni Moni Hamuna Yeswa Om Muni Mahamuna Yeswa Om Muni Muni Mahamuna Yeswa Om Muni Muni Mahamuna Yeswa. Okay, three prayers together.